We're a design and manufacturing engineering company, so we have a lot of localized engineering and localized design based on the parts of the world we happen to work with. And those have CAD drawings and design drawings, and they're quite large. And so we try to keep them locally at the edge, either in a cloud at the edge, like an Azure or GCP, or in some cases, we even have a local server still there in an appliance format. And that kind of product is really going to help us to prevent the latency issue of dragging all kinds of drawings back, because we have a product data management system that we synchronize all of our IP with, and that runs overnight depending on what time of day and where you are. And so that process keeps all the IP centralized and backed up, but keeps all the local workers having all the documents they need, the CAD drawings they need, and they don't have latency issues at all. Then, of course, the strategy around making sure we have the IP is to copy it over into our storage architecture and our recovery and backup architecture as well.
We are looking at a large volume of data on our properties, and it is, a combination of IT and OT data. And, the mix presents some unique challenges, both from a security standpoint and from a data management standpoint. And especially more so for us at this time, as they have been managed completely separately to this point, right? So historically, it's been very siloed. So we're just starting looking at how we can best leverage and incorporate, all these disparate sources of data into some meaningful information moving forward.
The difference between IT and OT, the edge can be really quite diverse, kind of depending on where you are inside the organization looking out. And to everybody, it might be a little bit different. If you're kind of traditionally thinking 5G IoT as that edge data, that might be true for some organizations. Telcos kind of look at the cell towers, managing high-speed data and aggregation requiring lawful intercept. As we work in cloud computing, it's that customer data out, might even be the physical network connectivity into the hyperscaler. So where you sit, kind of peeling that onion back, is really your lens of what that edge data is and how do you bring commonalities for success in managing that data. John mentioned not bringing large CAD diagrams back, but managing it in place. And as we go forward, data is only increasing and expanding in size, complexity. It's how do you maintain that data in place and really drive out the benefits, the insights, the drive from that data where they are. And as we kind of look, it really comes down to just managing complexity versus kind of a competitive advantage. And for each instance of your solutions, a lot of conversations we have is around, do you buy or pay for engineering for another company and manage SLA contracts where they are? That might be cloud computing. Or do you kind of pay for your engineers to build that strategic, get deeper appreciation, uncover new insights, maybe make those CAD drawings smaller so that you can move them around a little more easily? And it's balancing those two as a lot of our conversations. And how do you meet kind of that technical complexity and maintain kind of the richness and security in the data wherever that edge might reside for you as an organization looking out to it?
So when I'm looking at it, where it's a need, it's a business imperative for us. We're driven. We have a mandate from the board to follow NIST standards. Being a financial institution, we must adhere to regulatory standards with OSFI to protect our data. So I think that's what also allows you to really protect your critical data assets. So part of my job is to make sure that the digital journey is safe and secure for our customers being brokers and policyholders. So our goal is to provide data to the customers and brokers in a consistent, frictionless manner while making it secure and doing all of those changes transparently. So we secure our digital crown jewels in many ways, but for our customers and our brokers, policyholders, we do this by centralizing entry points, having the KYC onboarding come through, kind of funneling that down. So this way we can handle the data complexity, consistency in one presentation layer, one portal, which could be multiple systems just abstracted. With that abstraction layer, we can lock it down. We can make regular changes transparently. And so really it comes down to having the need to make regular security optimization on customer facing application. And that's how we do one piece of the journey, protecting our critical data assets.
I call it data safeguarding, right? And it's not always the sexiest thing to talk about because everyone wants to use data to generate revenue streams, right? But as we know today, more than anything, protecting your data is critical to all of our businesses. And we talked about ransomware, we talked about all these data breaches, and I saw some of the numbers that, from 2013, Yahoo getting penalized 85 million to Equifax at 575 million. So we know it's real out there. So, and now with data at the edge, like what John talked about, right? If we're storing data out there, we have to make sure that it's protected within the governance and compliancy. We also know that data is not all equal. So, how do we manage our data effectively so it's not all replicated, because there's costs associated to all that infrastructure to support it. So once you understand what data you have, now you can categorize it effectively to make sure it's under the right compliance or governance regulations for the business. And I like to look at it again from everything from the applications that are creating data, so ingesting it into whatever infrastructure needed, to making sure that it's protected within the governance and compliances. With the data growth, it's critical for all of us to kind of have an eye on it and make sure that we're following the right process, because there are so many people trying to attack all of our most critical assets to take advantage of us, as we have seen over and heard and read.